Hey friends, welcome back to Still with Sara. I'm Sarah and I'm so glad you pressed play today. If you've been following along, you know that this podcast is a space where I share not only pieces of my personal journey, but also the lessons, tools, and perspectives that I've gathered along the way. It's about truth telling, healing, and reimagining what's possible, not just for ourselves as individuals, but for the collective we're all a part of. They shade things up, sometimes in ways that feel uncomfortable, but always with the invitation to let go of what isn't working and step into what's real and aligned. And as we've been feeling that in the skies, we're seeing it mirrored right here on Earth. The world is going through its own reset. Leadership across so many areas, like politics, business, even spiritual spaces, they're all being questioned. Trust has been broken. And people are waking up to the reality that not all leaders are what they seem. So, today, I want to dive into three things that are all weaving together: the Eclipse Reset, the teachings from Your Wish is Your Command, and what it really means to embody conscious leadership. Because that's the medicine we need to rebuild trust and create a world worth believing in. Let me start with something personal. I spent over a decade in leadership roles, and I believed deeply in the power of collaboration. I wanted to create masterminds, communities, and spaces where we could all build something better together. And I worked alongside some amazing mentors, people who really did inspire me throughout my career. But I also saw the other side: leaders who wore a mask. Leaders who could talk the talk, but behind the scenes, it was all manipulation, performance, and in some cases, subtle, but very real abuse. And when you're in those environments long enough, it chips away at you. It breaks trust. I reached a point where I realized if I stayed in that system, I would lose myself. I had to choose. Do I keep playing the game or do I reset? And even though it hurt, I walked away. That reset cracked me open. It gave me the chance to ask, what am I actually dreaming of? Not just for myself, but for the world. And my dream is big. Maybe too big for some people's taste, but I don't think so. I dream of a world where every person has what they need: food, housing, energy, education, where wealth isn't hoarded, but it's shared, where equality isn't just a word, but a lived reality. Because the truth is, there's enough for everyone. Scarcity is a story we've been sold, and conscious leadership, the kind I want to talk about today, is about rewriting that story. Where in your life have you seen leadership fall short? And if you could rewrite the story, what kind of leadership would you want to see instead? Now, let's talk about what's been happening in the skies lately. On September 7th, the lunar eclipse in Pisces pulled back the veil. It illuminated illusions. Maybe you noticed old patterns, false promises, or relationships that no longer had the depth that you thought that they did. That's the lunar eclipse energy. It reveals what is no longer sustainable. And then, on September 21st, we had the solar eclipse in Virgo. That said, okay, now it's time to rebuild, to create systems that are grounded, practical, and aligned with integrity. When I look at the world right now, I see the same pattern: outdated systems, governments full of corruption, corporations driven by greed, spiritual institutions hiding harm. They're all being exposed. It's painful, but it's necessary. That all is the lunar eclipse at work, showing us the truth. And now we're in the solar eclipse energy, deciding what comes next. What do we build instead? How do we restore trust? What old illusion do you see crumbling in your personal life or in society? And what healthier, more authentic structure do you want to see replace it? When we talk about conscious leadership and rebuilding trust, it can feel huge, almost overwhelming. Like, how do we even start? But the truth is, it begins with small resets in our everyday lives. For me, one of my favorite resets is music. When I put on high vibrational songs, the kind that makes me dance and sing along at the top of my lungs, my energy shifts instantly. It's like I've tuned my frequency back to joy. Another is something as simple as a shower. I imagine the water rinsing away not just physical dirt, but the heaviness of the day, energy that doesn't belong to me, and stress that I don't need to carry. I step out feeling clear, grounded, and ready to show up again. These little resets may seem small, but they matter. Because when we reset ourselves, we're able to show up differently, more authentically. And when we do that, we start modeling the very trust and integrity we want to see in bigger systems. What's one simple practice you can lean on when you need to reset your energy and return to your authentic self? This brings me to the book, Your Wish is Your Command. This book was a turning point for me because it reminded me of something simple but powerful. Our thoughts, emotions, and beliefs are not just private, they are frequencies. And those frequencies shape reality. Think about it like this: our brains are always broadcasting. So, beta waves, it's the busy, stressed, problem solving mind. Most of us live there. And then you have theta waves. That's the dreamy in between state where the subconscious rewires. And then finally, you have gamma waves, which are flashes of inspiration, creativity, and deep connection. The problem is when we live in beta all the time, we stay stuck in things like survival mode and stress cycles. But when we shift into theta and gamma, through meditation, music, and visualization and joy, we tap into creation. We begin to align with the reality we want. The book boils it down to 4 steps. Number 1, decide what you want. Number 2, feel it as if it's already real. Number 3, hold steady, even when doubt creeps in. And lastly, number 4, act when the opportunity shows up. And here's the thing, this isn't just about manifesting personal dreams. It's about co-creating collective ones. If we can each hold the vision of leadership we can trust and live that frequency in our own lives, we start changing the field around us. Quick shout out to my mentors, Josh and Leisha at Empathy Empire. They were the ones who first introduced me to this book, and Josh just released a podcast episode breaking down some of the key points beautifully. I'll link it in the notes if I can figure it out, because you definitely have to check it out. And I also wanted to wish Leisha a very happy birthday. Her birthday is actually today on Tuesday when this podcast episode is being posted. So happy birthday, Leisha. I love you so much. Thank you so much for everything that you do for me and everyone in Empathy Empire. You are literally the walking embodiment of love. Thank you so much for the light that you shine on the world. If you could broadcast one frequency into your life right now, what would it be? What's the wish that you're ready to command into reality? So, what does conscious leadership actually look like? We throw around that phrase a lot, but I want to break it down because to me, a conscious leader embodies five key qualities. Number one is authenticity, walking the walk, not performing, not putting on a mask, but actually living the values you speak. Number two, accountability, owning your mistakes, saying, I got it wrong, and then making it right. Number three, transparency, open communication, even when it's uncomfortable, no hidden agendas, and absolutely no manipulation. Number four is service, leadership as service to the people, not service to the ego or profit. And lastly, number five is love. And yes, I mean love. Because leadership without love becomes domination. Leadership with love becomes liberation. Think about what would shift if leaders embodied even half of these. Imagine what governments, companies, and communities would look like if authenticity, accountability, transparency, service, and love were the baseline. But here's the key. It doesn't just start with the presidents or the CEOs. Conscious leadership begins with us, with how we lead our own lives, how we show up in our families, our relationships, our workplaces, and our communities. Every time we embody these qualities, we rebuild trust, ripple by ripple. Which of these five qualities is calling to you most right now? And where can you practice it more in your own life? So let's bring it all together. The eclipses gave us a cosmic reset. The book, Your Wish is Your Command, reminds us that our frequencies create our reality. And conscious leadership shows us the path forward, a way to rebuild trust, not through words or promises, but through embodiment and action. Imagine governments you could actually believe in, companies that put people and planet before profit, communities where no one is left behind, leaders who lead with love. That's not just a fantasy, that's the dream. And if enough of us align with it, embody it, and live it, it becomes reality. We are the children of the revolution. We believe in freedom, beauty, truth, and love. And the greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return. That's conscious leadership. So let's close with an affirmation. Say it with me if you can. I reset. I release what no longer serves me. I align my wish with love and clarity. I embody conscious leadership, authentic, accountable, transparent, and true. I am the leader of my life, and I help rebuild trust in the world. Thank you so much for being here and for dreaming with me and daring to lead with love. As I continue this podcast, I've been asking for some feedback and some episode topics that you might be interested in, or if you would like me to expand on. And I would eventually like to segue this podcast into interviews with other people to get different perspectives on different types of topics. So if there's any particular thing you would like us to discuss, please drop it in the comments below, and I'd be happy to try to see what I can do. We're building this together. Be the change you want to see in the world. I'm doing it right here, right now with this podcast and with a couple of other projects that I got going on social media. I try to tie them all together so you guys can see everything, but I'm literally trying to be the walking embodiment of conscious leadership. And like I said, you got to be the change you want to see in the world. and I'm doing it one day at a time. Thank you so much for staying still with me. Until next time.